everyone of you here joining us today. So, whether you're a seasoned professional with years of experience under your belt or someone who's just started into design, so today's session is gonna be something that you learn or have a takeaway for an incredible opportunity of growth and learning. So my aim today is to provide you with some good insights, good plugin knowledge, and valuable tips on how to use this particularly amazing tool, which is Webflow. And also I'll share you some insights on how you can export your designs from Figma to Webflow and all, right? So sit back, relaxed, and enjoy yourself as I'll be explaining you through this course. So today we will be focusing on the important parts of Webflow. So for an introduction, basically, Webflow is a modern web design tool that is changing the way we make websites. So Webflow has an easy to use interface and it has helpful features that give designers a lot of control and flexibility. So designers can just bring up the creative ideas and do not have to focus much on the coding part, and it makes their life much easier. So whether you're a professional designer or just starting out, Webflow will make it very easy for you to create these amazing websites. So yeah, let's see how Webflow works. And before we begin, I'm also excited to tell you that there's an amazing plugin that I'm gonna introduce you to, which is gonna just make your work way much easier compared to building everything from scratch in Webflow. So this plugin basically is an exportable tool, which is gonna export whatever you have designed in Figma and paste it in Webflow. Just a copy paste function is enough to create something of this sort. So if you can see on my screen, there's a landing page that I have designed before. So we will be recreating this landing page, and we will be exporting this to Webflow using this plugin, and we'll be doing this all in an hour basically. So cool. Let's get started then. So I'll first start off with introducing you to the plugin. And before we begin, I'll just give you a quick sneak peek on the website that we're doing. So this is the landing page. And these are all the sections, small sections. A small landing page that fits in our time frame. But obviously, if you consider the aesthetics and all, I think it's a well-made landing page. So I'll be recreating the same landing page again with using this plugin, which is so go to the plugins tab and click on Figma to Webflow. Bracket, there's all HTML, CSS. Click on that plugin. So one thing that this plugin does basically is that you can select all of these frames and just export them, right? I'll show you that part later. But this plugin also helps you to build a landing page altogether from scratch. So I will show you. I'll quickly show you how. So let's create a frame somewhere around 1440. Let's say. Otherwise, let's just take the dimension that this one has. It's 1440, and let's make sure to add auto layout. So for this plugin, and for any plugin to work, basically, we need to make sure that everything is present inside auto layout, and everything inside that, like all the frames to the last down detail, is auto layouted, because the functionality of auto layout and the box layout and all of that it has is very much similar to how Webflow works. So having auto layout and having this having everything in every component inside in auto layout is going to be very much useful, right? So first we have this frame. Let's call this landing page. Always remember to make sure to name your layers. So I'm going to call this landing page. And in this landing page, so let's just click on the first item, which is a nav bar, right? So over here you can either select like any item basically, or like just click on this, or like this drop down to find what you want, basically navigation, right? And I want to click on this nav logo left, and if you see that frame has been pasted. And over here in the frames panel, if you see, everything is in auto layout. This icon that you see, the lines icon, horizontally and vertically placed, all these icons indicate that it is an auto layout. So basically this frame altogether is an auto layout, and we have our navbar, right? So we have some padding over here, which is 8 and 8. I think I'll just remove the padding for now, because we do not need any padding since this is going to be a continuous web page. Now this is the landing. This is the navigation bar that we have. So this is the same navigation bar that has been created, and I'll just try to recreate this accordingly what we have. So we have the logo over here. It's an image basically. So I'm just gonna command C copy, and I'm gonna do something called paste to replace. So that's gonna replace the logo for me over there. All right. And over here we have about features pricing, right? So the font over here that's been used is Inter, which is a very basic font. But if you wish to change the font, definitely you can. So over here I've used a font called Louis George Cafe, and I'll be using the same font over here as well. So let me select this one and this one and this one. I'm pressing Shift and selecting it basically, and I'm gonna say Louis George Cafe, and that's gonna be the font over there. And for the Get Started button, what I've done is I've just reduced the radius of one side basically, so that we're following this theme of having a singular radius on side one side, and I'll be using the same radius over here, maybe something around 6, let's say. So you click on this panel, add a corner radius to the left that says 6, and make sure you change the font in this to again Louis George Cafe, right? And now you have your font as well. So cool. We have a button, we have a navbar ready. One thing that's basically missing over here is the color part. I think we'll just add the color as well. So I'm just gonna take it from the eyedropper and select the color. And not sure if this has been replicated, but yeah, this color, sorry. Now we have the color of the navbar as well, right? Now, next thing we have is the hero landing section or the hero section. So in a landing page, this is very much important because everyone using any URL, let's say you type in webflow.com, or let's say you type in figma.com, or any .com or any website that you type in the URL or click on any URL, you will be landing on a certain section. You won't be landing on this entire page, right? You'll be landing on a particular section, which is the landing page section. So this landing page section is very much important for the fact that people will get the first impression from this landing page, and in the first impression in itself, if you are able to convey what the product is about, or like whatever the landing page is talking about, that will be very much helpful actually. So definitely learn about what needs to be done. So there are components called, this is the USP, or like the main heading, this is the subheading, these are the conversion CTAs. So let's say any company is there, like any SaaS company, let's say they want clients, they want you to land on this landing page, and after landing on this landing page, they want you to use the product. So clicking on something like get started will take you to the product. So there is something called conversion happening. So this conversion is enhanced by uh, how well or how detailed this landing page or like the CTA buttons are, right? So now, how do we start with creating an landing section? We do have templates for this too. So over here, if you see, there's something called hero. Now, if you click on this, you have different layouts, right? So you have some different layouts basically. Over here you have a left aligned layout, you have text right aligned layout, there's a centered layout, and there is a the only text layout. Now over here, what we used is a text left and image right layout. So how you can just add it is similar to how you have added the navbar. You can just click on this, and let's say you click on this, click to add to canvas basically, and you click on this, and right now this has been added. Now right now this is horizontally going in. Do not worry, it's just that you need to change the orientation. So now you have a vertical layout. All right, and this can be hug contents, and yeah, you have it sorted. Now you have the section in place, and by the way, you can make this hug contents, and everything over here can also be hug contents, right? So now you have the section in place, but this does not look anything similar to what we have over here, right? So how do you do that? Now, uh, first thing, let's go from starting with the text, or basically let's start with the layout only. So over here, if you see, we have a margin of 144 on vertical padding and 24 on the horizontal padding. Let's make sure to give the same padding over here as well. So 144 over here is going to expand this thing, and we do not have anything like 0 or anything, but we do have something inside as well. For the inside part, let's just leave it at that. But for now, I think this should do. And first thing first, let's add the color part. We'll just add the color like this, right? And now let's focus on the text part. So we have something called crafting spaces that speaks to you. I will command C copy and command V paste, right? Okay, by the way, let me just add it in this font and show you. So command V, let's say I've typed all of this. Now the font I've used here is something called Avril Fat Face, which is a decent serif font, and I'll be using the same font over here like this. And over here again, let's just copy this one and paste it over here. And the font I've used here is again Louis George Cafe. I'll use the same font, and we'll get into the button part later. But first, let's first fix on these two parts. So if you see over here, there's a gradient that's been applied, right? So you can create this gradient on your own, or if you wish to have the same sort of a gradient, basically what you can do is Command C, select this one, and yeah, if you see over here in the selection colors, you have something called linear basically. Yeah. So we'll just start this from scratch maybe. Let's press enter over here, and let me just add the gradient to this. We have a horizontal gradient, so make sure you angle it accordingly. And let's add the colors now. I'll be using the eyedropper tool again for this. So we have black on this side, and over here we have orange. So we'll click on this orange. Yeah, now we have the same title that looks almost similarly the same, right? Now let's focus on adding these buttons. So we already have one button, and let's make sure to have it on the same dimensions and have the multi buttons actually. So we have one button over here, and we have one button, and there's something called actions as a tab. Now over here what we have is only one actions and one button, right? Now you can duplicate this by pressing Command D, and it will duplicate and give you another button, all right? And you can just change the format of how both of these buttons look. Now over here, we do not, the size that we are following is somewhere around 65. And for the button, we have the horizontal padding is 32 and 24. So let's just do the same for this button as well. 32 and 24, right? And if you remember, there's a corner radius as well. And how much is the radius? Let's check. So that's around 12. I can make sure to give the same radius over here as well. So 12. And font, we have it started again Louis George Cafe. All right. Same thing for here as well. 32 and 24. And we can remove this color and basically give it a stroke only, right? Like this. And make sure the radius is 12. And the font has a color of black, like this. And the font also is Louis George Cafe. Sorry, Louis George Cafe. Now we have, okay, by the way, this is called launch in web. So let me just zoom in. Launch in web. Right? Okay. We have this section sorted out now. Now let's go to adding this image basically. Now So if you see over here, there's an image wrapper and then there is an image in it, right? Now let me show you some cool trick basically. I'm gonna copy the image in this, which is this one over here. By if I click on this, you see that there is a blue selection over here, right? Let me repeat myself. I'm clicking over here and there is a blue selection. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna press Command C, and over here on the image part, I'm gonna click on it and press Command B, and see, just make sure that the blue selection comes up, and if you do Command C and Command V, the image can get pasted. All right. Now here we have a fixed width of 547. So over here also, let's give it somewhere around 547. I don't like to go on odd numbers. Let's go 548, and make sure that this image is filling the container, and this image again is filling the container. So you have the whole image. All right. Now, so what do we have? So what else do we have? So for the image wrapper, we have a radius basically, corner radius of 200. So let's give that radius to 200, that is, and make sure that it's clipping the content. So if it's not clipping the content, meaning, so the frame is basically like this in a curve path, but the image inside the frame is going outside. So it's not clipping the content, it's not restricting it. So once you click on clip content, it restricts according to the shape of the frame. So that is what is happening over here, right? Now you have added this text part, and now we have added this images as well. So there's additional details like this. I've created this cool looking graphs, sorry, glasses, and I'll just quickly show you how I've done it. Basically, I've used glass morphism, if you can see. So I've added background blur, inner shadow, and drop shadow. The value of background blur is around 32, and some inner shadow 0 and 8%, and the blur is 60 to 10%, with the black drop shadow is around 12%. So you can choose these values to create the glasses, and basically I'm just going to copy paste it so that we can save time on the other sections. But what I'm going to do is over here, if you see, uh, it is in this frame, right, the column frame, but there's something called like four brackets that are placed over here. So that's because now if I try to copy this, I press Command C and go to the column section and I paste it over here. If you see, it's going inside the layout. Now if you want it to happen something like this, right, what you should do is you have to select this frame and make sure that it is an absolute positioning. So this option over here, which says absolute position, indicates that it does not come inside the layout, but rather it comes as a part of the whole column section and everything. So if you remember, this is clipping content, but if you remove clip content, whatever is there will extend. All right. So over here, now this is also going in. So let's do one thing. Let's not give radius to this one over here, and give it to the image wrapper only, right? And give clip content. If you do something like this, now the column is not getting clipped, but only the image wrapper is getting clipped. So I'll repeat again myself with this one. So what I've done is I created some, let's say, glass element outside, right? Now I'm copying this. Let's call this glass again. And by the way, I forgot to name this one. This is glass one. Right? Now I'm gonna Command C this, Control C, which is copy, and I'm gonna paste it over here. Command B. Now again, what happened is it has become a part of the layout. Now I don't want it to become a part of the layout. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make this have a position that is absolute, irrespective of the layout. Absolute meaning irrespective of the layout. Let's consider it like that. Okay. Now I'm gonna click on absolute positioning, and this is gonna give me this layout. Now I can place it anywhere else. I can place it over here. I can place it on top. I can place it here, anywhere that my cursor wants me to place it at. All right. And similarly, let's just copy paste another one. Let me, for this time, drag this one over here and do it like this. And I'll just copy this information and paste it over here. right? Like this, we have created the hero section as well. So what else is potentially missing is so I added some guidelines and everything like extra background elements. Maybe you can wish to have them as well. But I'll just copy that as a group altogether over here, Command C, and I'll have them separately like this, stretched out. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna copy as PNG, and I'm gonna paste it over this one maybe. Okay, so maybe we'll do one thing. We'll add an image over here and paste it in that. Yeah. Now, if you see, the background also has been copy pasted. The reason why I'm doing this is because, again, in Webflow, you cannot add these as independent elements. It will become a lot of code. That is why it is important if you're adding anything as a background, like with images or like lines like these. So it is important to make sure that you are having it as an image, exporting it as an image. So in Webflow also, you'll be adding it as an image. So that's what I did over here. All right. So yeah, now we are done with this. We're done with this section as well. Oh, by the way, I forgot to add. There's a small stroke that we have added over here. So let me add that too. So I'll quickly add a stroke to this and give it 10%. And I don't want it on every side. I just want it at the bottom. So what I can do is over here, if you click on, there's all top, bottom, left, right, right. So you can click on bottom to just give one side the stroke. So this is what it did. Cool. So yeah, quick recap before we move into the next section. We've done the nav bar by over here selecting navigation and clicking on this. This is automatically added it into the layout. Next thing what we did is we added a hero section by going to the hero and selecting the layout of our choice. And you can do that by just making sure you select the landing page and click on it. And like this, it will, okay, it's take time. Okay. So like this, if you click on it, it will add it to that layout like this. All right. I'll delete this for now. Like this, you can add various new sections, keep on adding various new sections like this to your landing page. And over here, by just changing the font, adding an extra button inside, and making sure, again and again, I'm repeating this, making sure that everything is inside auto layout. So everything over here is inside auto layout. And something like this, which is not inside auto layout, has been put under absolute positioning. But always convey to make sure that even if something is not aligned or placed according to auto layout, make sure that it's absolutely placed. But no, do not just keep it in an empty frame without auto layout. All right, cool. So now bar done, landing section, hero section done. So next is this section. Now this is more of like the feature section. So actually, I haven't used feature section over here, but rather I've used something else, I guess. Logos or team. Yeah, team is what I've used basically. Team rectangles. So I'll be using the same one over here too. All right. Uh, so let me again click on landing page, and the reason is because basically this also looks like a feature section. Also, this also looks like a feature section. Basically, this is features metrics, and those are only one layout. But how about I just choose anything of my wish, and just add it and convert it into something that I want. That's what I did, and I chose team rectangles by the way. So like this, I click on it, and this section is added just like that. And so yeah, now first let's add the heading over here. Copy, and by this command V, we're pasting it. Otherwise, you know what to do, right? Just like how I did, like I selected the font, typed in. That's what something you can do here as well. I'll command C over here, copy, and paste it according to the font. Make sure that you add in the colors as well. All right, and over here, now what has happened over here is that so the text is there, the para is there, and this additional icon frame that this I have created is also there, and it's all under a feature card, right? So what has happened is basically I've removed the image over here for all three of these. All right, so this will make it look something like this. And now, for example, let's copy this one, Command C, and I'm just command pressing Command V, and you pasted the text, and over here Command C again, and you're pasting this thing, right? Now make sure you have some certain spacing defined. In this case, 12 is the spacing and 36 and 36. So again, 12 and 36 and 36 is what has been designed, right? So like that, make sure to customize your auto layout according to what you feel is right. So you have the freedom for that, and making sure to have it in four multiples is a good practice. So that's why 36, 32, 34, 24, like that. I follow generally multiples of four as a good scale. Now, I will also make sure to copy this icon. So basically, I've just created this icon from scratch. You can also do it too by just adding some, gradients. Like this is a gradient, this is a gradient, this is a gradient, gradient, and a rectangle. So use that and Command C, and pasted it over here. Command V. The thing is, this has been pasted inside an auto layout only. So having to make sure that it's all in an auto layout is very much important. All right. So uh, again, this is all part of an auto layout like this, and you want the frame to be on top, so you can drag it like this, and it will come to the top. All right. Now, what else is there? We're also supposed to add the radius. So for the card, the radius given is around 32. So let's make sure to add the same radius, which is 32 over here, and remember to clip the content. All right. Now, I've done something the same like that, similar. So what I'm gonna do, just to show you how rapid prototyping works, I'll just take this info part, Command C this, and I'm gonna paste it over here to replace this info basically, like this. And I'll just what I've done is paste to replace, Shift Command Shift R. That's what I've done. That's how it's been replaced, right? Now I'll just remove the background in this case, and in this case I will again do the same, Command Shift R in my MacBook. I think it's Control Shift R in Windows. So I'm going to select the info, by the way, and Command Shift R, and yeah, and remove the background. Now like this, you have your layout and all, right? Now just make sure to copy paste out whatever information is there, and like this, and Command C, Command V. Like this, if you copy pasted information, this section is also done. All right. Now again, I feel like if you see zoom in, there are some elements like this that are there that we can potentially add to, just like how we did for this section. And let me just drag this section outside like this. So remove this part, copy this as PNG, right click, copy as PNG, yeah, and image, and Command V. Now if you see, the image has been copied and pasted. So now you also have this background as well. All right. So we're done with two sections. Next is this list of sections, and then there's a testimonial section, and then there is a footer. Right. So we'll quickly do those things too. So just again, the process will be to go for let's say gallery section or feature section. So yeah, I'll use the feature section for now, and I'll show you something that I can modify about this feature section too. All right. click on this feature section, and there is a heading like this, right? Our work, your inspiration. So this is looking similar to what is there over here. So how about I just copy this one, Command C, and they go into this auto layout and columns, and this is horizontally aligned, by the way. So make sure to paste it in something that's vertically aligned. So this will be a part of this section, by the way. So I'll just paste it in this one and like this, and I'll make sure to have it vertically aligned with this. So I'm pressing the arrow to push it to the top. The top arrow on your keyboard can push it to the top and bottom like this, right? So like this, you can just paste it. Let's check the layout first. It's 64, 24, 64. So you can do 64, 24, and 64 should do. Now, next part is to do this section. So if you see, the heading is there, the text is there. Additionally, we have added the learn more button, but you don't see this information. You only see this image, right? So, like I said, if you use the paste to replace part, like just like let's say I've selected this column and I've selected these images, all right? So just for the safety purpose of things, I'll paste it as an image, because in Webflow again we will be exporting this as an image only. So I'm gonna say copy, I'm just gonna copy this, and I'm gonna paste to replace this. All right. So like that, you can just paste to replace this thing. But what I've done, let me just undo this. So what I've done is I've replaced the column. So if you see on the selection part, this column, this entire thing is being selected, and by pressing Command Shift R or paste to replace, this entire thing is being replaced. All right. And next thing, make sure it's center aligned, because in this we have done it as a center alignment. So over here in the auto layout, there is left, there is right, there is top center, there is top right, left center, left center, center center, right center, bottom left, bottom center, bottom right. So these are all the alignments, right? So let's go. Let's just choose to have center and center, because anyways, if we are expanding and compressing, it will still be in the center only. So we'll choose to have center and center. And what we'll do is we'll quickly copy and paste these things. All right. Command Shift. Okay. Command V. We have this, and Command C, and Command V. So I'll also quickly tell you this, what is happening. So I'm pressing Command V. By the way, one second. I'm pressing Command V, and the font and all is automatically changing. But if you do not wish to change the font and have the same font, that is Inter over in this case, press Command Shift V, and the entire thing will still stay the same basically. Okay. So Command V, like this. Now, next thing, this button that we have over here, learn more. So over here, it's just a text. But if you see, this is inside a learn more button, and there's an intro. The intro is this section. The learn more is this section. Now, right click on this and make sure to click on frame selection and make sure to add auto layout. So right now, this is also in an auto layout, and I'll call this button, learn more button. Right. So I have added this in auto layout, and let's make sure to have the same dimensions of this. So over here, 32, 24, 8, center line. I will also make sure to have the same thing. The text is selected, but for learn more button, 32, 24, and by the way, hug contents. This also has to be hug contents. This 32, 24, 8, and center line. All right. And then let's add the stroke like this, and make sure that this is around 12, right? over here, font again is Louis George Cafe. And did we have it capital? Okay. So I don't want to retype this again. So as a quick fix, what I'm going to do is open this menu and click on this case. Capital case, small case, camel title case. Okay, whatever that support does not support, but yeah, like this you can have different cases. So make sure if you want to have everything instead of just having to again retype everything, I just did this. So you can note that as a tip too. Like I said in the beginning, I'll be sharing you some valuable tips. All of this, the command shift are additional tips. Probably you might not have known about this in Figma. So this will always help you out with that. All right, cool. Now we also have this section. But what does okay? We forgot to change this one. So Command C and Command D, Command V, and Command C and Command V. All of this is also changed. And still, there's the background as well. So what background we've used is the hex code is FV, F9, F3. Command C, paste like this. The same background has also been replicated, right? Now, if you look at this, the spacing is again 80, 24, 64, right? But what did we give here? There's nothing we've given. So let's make sure to add 24 and 64. Right? The reason why I'm doing is because over here, if you see, there's a border that I've added. This is not any like line or like divider that I've added, but rather what I've done is I've gone to stroke. I've made sure to have it at the bottom only, and reduce the opacity to let's say 20%. And this is what it did. So right now it looks like there is a divider. So that's one trick that you can use to just instead of having to draw a divider and all of it, instead of having to create a new element altogether, you can just give the stroke if you feel like this is going to be consistent, right? Now, by the way, let's check if the auto layout is in 64 over here. Yeah, it is in 64. So next thing what we're gonna do is, by the way, we forgot to add this numerical over here. I'm just gonna quickly copy and and copy this, add over here. In this, I'm gonna paste this arrows to send it to the top, and we have it there as well. Basically, this is also another frame. Okay, so this is also an auto layout. The numerical here is in one, and in that there is a frame, which is some like a division frame that I've added, and like this you can copy and paste it here too. Just another auto layout frame. And by the way, you can also remove this if you wish to, and just have this called as number one badge, one badge, right? Cool. So now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna do the same. This it's the same layout, right? So I'm gonna do Command C, Command V, Command C, Command V, and it's gonna replicate those strings thrice for me. Like twice, I'm gonna replicate this. And you know how to change things in a direction in an auto layout, right? So I'm gonna change it to this, like by pressing the left arrow, making sure that this column is selected by double clicking on it and pressing on the left arrow. I have changed the orientation of this as well. So now we have left, right, left, and let's quickly make sure to add the text that is there over here too. So this is going to be number 2, right? This is going to be the coastal charm, and I've added some seaside home, then some information. Let's just paste that too. And over here, it's going to be the vintage revival and fancy command V. And yeah, by the way, this is going to be number 3, right? Cool. So we have 1, 2, 3 over here, and let's make sure to quickly change the images as well. So over here, by the way, I'll show you how I've quickly done it. So this is in one layout. I'll just independently detach all of these two. Okay, these are all independent images, frame images, all right. So what I've done is for this. This is one image. This is one image, and this also is supposed to be another image. Let's bring in the sorry. See, let's bring in three images. All right. So first thing, I've added this as a radius of 200. Now I've made sure that both of them are in auto layout. I've selected both of them, or you can just drag and select both of them and press Shift A or auto layout over here, and it's going to add them in an auto layout. So the margin is again 24 over here, and this one, just make sure that it drags it all the way till here, and over both select both of them, and again Shift A, auto layout, and 24 like this. Cool. So like this, I've just created a new frame like that. I just exported these images from a plugin called Pexels. You can also use Unsplash. Both of them work, and you can just import the images over here. Okay. So I'm just gonna call this seaside, right? Right. And what I'm gonna do is copy, select, double click and selecting this frame or whatever you click over here. Also, you can select it and paste to replace and like this. And over here we'll do the same thing, copy and paste to replace. We also have this part of the website done. All right. Now last that we have is a testimonial section. So let's search for testimonials over here. Hmm. Oh sorry, I've added features to it. Sorry, testimonials. So we've used this format of a testimonial. Let me just quickly click on that like this. And let's first give the background color. This by the eyedropper. This. And for this frame also, I will give this background color. All right. So now Command V, Control C, and V, and I'll just paste in these details. By the way, I'm not just copy pasting. I'm just copy pasting because this is very easy. Even if I were to create this from scratch, I'll just have to type it right. Happy homeowners, is it? So if I don't copy paste it, additionally I'll have to home owners, happy homeowners something, and I'll just have to click on. But just to save time, I'm just copy pasting it. So, but then yeah, you can always change the font and the size and everything according to what you have in needs. All right. So I'll just quickly add some 200 to 200 radius. So it looks like this. And yeah, by the way, we added something as an additional radius, like the radial gradient over here. So I can either copy paste it, but if I want you to show to how to create it, just click on plus over here, go into gradients, and make sure you select radial. And this, let's make it transparent. And this, let's make it to this color. All right. Um, okay. So let's choose to have it as white, and somewhere along these lines, maybe. Let's just increase the radius, just into something like this. And yeah, you can add that radial background like that too. It's completely fine. Or if you wish to have the exact radialness, you can just Command C and Command V like this. But yeah, I kind of like this one now. So let's just use this. And for the image, I'll just add it from another plugin. pixels, portrait images. Okay, this guy looks good. I'll just add this person. Cool. Now the last thing, by the way, this plugin got closed. So the last thing to add is the footer section, right? And where do we have this footer? It's over here, right? So I'll click on footer, and with this, I'm just gonna copy paste the color, and make sure to change the selection color to something on this lines, which is white, and I'll just copy and replace this. All right. Hmm, good. Hmm, now let's just manually add all of these. Or wait, anyways, it's the same items, by the way. So let me just change the font of these things. Oopsie. Apple Fat face, and I'll press Command A to select all of these, and Louis, Command A to Louis, and Command A to Louis. Yeah, like this. By the way, something got altered over here, which is that let's just remove this. Yeah, I think there's some stroke that's been added to this, some drop shadow that has been added to this. Let's remove that. I'll just copy this copyright. Cool. So here we go. We have our landing page, which is done in 45 minutes. All right. So with this plugin, it is really fast to create a landing page with basic. I mean, I've copy pasted it at times. It might take you an hour or so at least. But yeah, with this plugin, what I wanted to say is that it really streamlines your procedure. It makes it very easy so that you don't have to create anything from scratch. You just have to replace the elements in it and play around with the auto layout once, and you'll get a really good website. So make sure to try this plugin out. That's one thing. So now, but we're only half done. We've just created the landing page. Now let me show you how you can integrate this into Webflow. All right. So you're done with all the landing page. Everything is in auto layout because we've just directly exported whatever predefined layouts that are there, right? Predefined items. So we've used those parts only. So next thing, we'll move on to the Webflow part. So once you log into Webflow, create your account. So there's something that you'll see like this. Basically, this is an previous site, but there'll be an empty dashboard, and over here you have all of these things, right? So there's all tutorials on how you can use Webflow, and there's like team settings, central settings, plans, billings for subscription items, and all of it. But if you want to create a new site, you go onto this button and click on New Site. See, yeah, I'll click on this called Select, and I'm gonna make sure to add, call this uh, Guvi IT live website. Okay, I'm gonna click on it and click on create site, and it'll take some time to load, and meanwhile it will load. So what we're gonna do is gonna be very easy, but yeah, So this is the interface that you're going to see, and we're just going to take this and put it here. It's as simple as that. But before we begin, let me show you so the things that you need to do. First, let me give you an introduction to this interface. So over here, this is the interface that you'll be beginning with. This is the blank canvas that will be given to you. So over here you have the navigation menu panel, and over here you have the properties panel. All right. So the first one, here you can add elements basically. So everything is comprised of sections, containers, and all of it. So over here, what you call as frames. So this one is a section. This one is a container. This one is a div block. Like that, all these frames are specifically categorized. This is a knowledge of the CSS, but on the coding side. But you can definitely, if you wish to learn more about it, you can definitely refer to the tutorials in Webflow for that. But these are all the elements that you can add to it. Like if you want to add a paragraph, you can add it. A text link, if you want to add, you can add it. If you want to add an image over here, you can add it. YouTube videos, lottie animations, something new that is plain 3D animations basically. You have all these pre-added elements that you can add, right? And another thing, you have all the pages. So if you know, a web page is not a website is not only one page. It is a multiple, it's a set of multiple pages, right? So you can create as many pages as you want over here, with this. And over here is the navigator. So all the elements that you see over here will be replicated here. So basically it acts like this one. So over here, if you see all the frames, everything is there, right? The navigator also acts like this list of frames and like this frame guide. This is also called a navigator, by the way. So a navigator is useful for that. So next up, we have components, you have variables. So in Figma you have components. You can create variables in this, like property variables, by the way. Style selectors, assets. If you want to add any images, you add them over here, like this. So yeah, and CMS, all of it. Cool. So these are the fundamental aspects of it. But first three things to remember is, if you want any element to add, you can add it from here. If you want to create a new page, you can create it from here. If you want to navigate between the elements that you have added, the navigator is always there. All right, cool. So I will click on this and it will close it off. And over here, if you see, so I'm assuming everyone knows about responsive design. So basically, you click over here. This is the tablet view. This is the horizontal mobile view, and this is the mobile portrait view. So for every breakpoint, if you consider, you have a different screen. So you can make sure to alter your layout accordingly. So when this, so I'll show you how. So these are all the breakpoints, right? I'll quickly show you how. So this is the desktop. This is the laptop, like this, like this, like this. So let me just, for example, I'll go into Webflow's website only. Not Webflow, but let's say Figma website. Okay. I'll quickly go into, what else do we have? So, some landing page. Hmm. Let's go into mainstream landing page. So here you see this is a website, right? If you click on this and click on inspect, so basically for different layouts, this is what happens. You can you see that the website is automatically expanding and contracting based on the breakpoints, right? So it's adapting to the size basically. All right. So like that, if you want your website to have it under certain breakpoints. Now, for example, see the layout has changed when you've reached this breakpoint. So that's basically about responsive design, and it has something called breakpoints basically. Breakpoints meaning, like if you assign a certain value or for horizontal resolution value, and when the screen has that value, the layout changes like that. So that's basically a breakpoint. It's breaking the layout when it reaches that particular point in the horizontal dimension. So that's basically called a breakpoint. Like that, we have different breakpoints over here, and all these breakpoints you can like design, and you can change the layout once it reaches the breakpoint, so that it adapts to any design. So even if you were to open it in your mobile, or even if you were to open it in your desktop, So you can create different layouts so that it is compatible with any device. That is the essence of responsive design, and Webflow helps you cater to that, right? And over here it's the properties panel. So you have style, settings, interactions. So that's maybe something for another day because we do not have anything added as of now. But yeah, once we add some elements, I think we'll definitely get onto it. But let's begin with adding these parts. But before we do that, so I would like to go into this one and go into something called site settings. All right. So the site settings is where you manage everything that is behind inside the site. So just to control the Webflow interface and whatever needs to be added in the site, like that. So you have something called SEO for plans for publishing, and you have some different plans, access, forms, libraries. You have a lot of things. But for now, let's focus on one thing basically, which is the fonts. Over here, if you see, we've used some like quite different fonts, right? So fonts like Abril Fatface and Louis George Cafe, all of those, and we want to have those same fonts. So maybe Abril Fatface is something that's not visible over here. Okay, it is there. So I'll select this font and Abril Fatface and make sure to have both Latin extension and Latin both, and click on Add Font. So that what it will do is it will add the Abril font for me. All right. We do not have any more weights, it's all just regular. So I think that works. And now, let's say you want to add some font that is not there in Google, like Louis George Cafe, let's say. I will go to upload and search for Louis George Cafe. I'll select all of these, maybe, and this one too. All the TTF files. .ttf is the text format file. So make sure to open all of this, select all of them. And once you click on upload, all of this will come up as a list. So you can just make sure to select the style that you want and click on upload font file, upload font file, upload font file. By the way, it's all getting added by the way at below. All right. So upload font file, and upload font file, and upload font file. So I added all the variations of your font over here. And also there's another Google font which is Apple Fat Face that we've used. Right? So you added the fonts. So before you begin, make sure to add all the fonts that you're using in your design. So over here we're using two fonts, right? Make sure to add both of them in the design, right? And next, so the next thing you have to do is go into the designer. The designer is the same thing that you're working on, right? That is where you're gonna have add in all these elements. Like make sure you do the design everything that happens there. All right. So first, let's make sure to select the body. Now go into this landing page. By the way, you open this plugin, and if you go into Webflow, there's none selected, but make sure to select any project. Over here, I have something called portfolio website. That should help actually. All right. So over here, you go over here and you can just directly copy paste it. But like I said, everything must use auto layout. It's something that I've told you, right? If you do not have auto layout, basically you can't copy to Webflow, and all nested frames must use auto layout. So everything that isn't there will not be allowed into auto layout basically. All right. So these do not have auto layout, and okay, only that one does not have auto layout. Everything else has. So what I'll do is maybe I'll copy as SVG and replace this and auto layout maybe. Okay, I'll copy this as PNG maybe and replace this Command Shift R and make sure to add it in auto layout Shift A and call this icon. I'll do the same thing, Command C, Command Shift R, Command Shift R. Like this, you can copy and paste it. Cool. So now let's click on this one, which is the nav bar. Over here, if you see, now the button is active, which says copy to Webflow. Right? You can first thing there's div section link. So like I said, this is a section because a section is basically like one part of the thing or this entire thing that we added, right? These are all sections basically. So section is one thing, like the whole combined element is a section. So all these groups and frames that are inside are basically divs, and a link is something basically. A link is different from a div because a div only contains, but a link also has a URL attached to it. So that is something different again. So right now we have div section link. Now I'm going to select this. I'm going to click on section, and I'm going to say copy to Webflow. It's going to prepare the assets, and it has copied it to clipboard, right? Now over here, I'm going to click on body. I'm going to press Command V. So this entire thing has been pasted. All right. Now make sure right now it looks something like this. When you press play over here, it's going to show you a preview of the website. But I want it to be expanded to the entire width, because over here the max width that's been given is 1440. By the way, like I was talking, right? I was saying about properties panel. So now you see, if I click on an element, if an element has already come in, there are all these properties. So let me give you a quick walkthrough of all these properties. This is for the alignment purposes. So align, justify, gap. If you want horizontal direction or vertical direction, like this, right? Or if you want to change the layout, all of it happens in this layout part, right? Here is the spacing. Just like in Figma, you have this horizontal spacing, vertical padding, right? Just like that, this spacing is also there. So if you given here 24, right, for this margin is 24. The same 24 has been replicated as padding over here. So that's basically the spacing, and margin is something that happens outside. I'll quickly show you when you add a new section on how margin works as well. And but that's basically how you control the layout and spacing part of things basically. Now size. The size of this entire container is 100%. Percent meaning it occupies the entire artboard size, right? And the height is auto. Auto meaning it's just hugging the entire elements that are there inside it. And max width that is given says 1440, which means right now this width is 1440. All right. So right now it's compressing like this, but if you want to expand, it will only go till 1440 and nothing more. But we don't want it as of now, right? So what you're gonna do is just remove this and say none, and it's gonna spread to the entire thing. So now if you see, you have the entire navbar like this. By the way, this image over here is kind of blurred out, right? So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna export a high quality image from this. Maybe something like this. I'm just gonna extract it outside. Click on export. Click on 3x, or maybe 2x should do, and let's export image file. 11 logo. And right now whatever I've exported, you can add them inside over here, like images and all that stuff, by clicking over here and 11 logo. This one, click on this, and it's going to add this asset over here. Now I'm going to click on this image with this image icon, select this and click on choose image, and select this one. Now in that way you can replace the image that is there, right now it has a much better clarity, right? So like that, you can export images and just replace them by adding them into this images panel, and then it's gonna replace the image for you like that, right? Now we're done with the navbar. So let's, in the similar fashion, let's copy and paste this too. So let's say copy to Webflow. It's preparing the assets for us. It's taking some time, and now it's copied to clipboard. Now you don't want to paste it in the navbar logo left. So over here there is a breadcrumb which shows you which is what part of the website is, or like what part of the container is selected, right? So you don't want navbar logo left. You just have to click on this body, because you're all pasting it in one particular body altogether, the landing page body, right? You're gonna add it each of these to that body actually. All right. Now I'm gonna press Command V. See, everything's have been replicated. Again, there's the same issue, which is max width is 1440 pixels. We do not want that. So what we're gonna do is again press none. Okay, the background image hasn't been rendered, so we'll take care of that soon. But before that, let's check if the layout is center aligned. So it is center aligned now. So how do you copy and paste the background is basically, I'll remove this one. Like I said, you can just go over here, export it, maybe to 1.5x, hero PG, right? and then I'm going to add this to this panel. Hero PG, open. Right now, we have something called background image SVG. We'll choose this image and click on this. Like that, over here you can replace the image. Let me again repeat it. So over here in backgrounds, there's something called image and gradient. Over there for your container, basically, like just how you add images to Figma, you can choose to add images over here. If you click on this, you have four options, which is an image, you can add a gradient, you can add a radial gradient, and you can just add a color like this, or maybe something like this, right? But for now, let's choose to add image, and we do not have any other image. Let's just delete this background image.svg. We'll delete this. We have this. So, but then you understand, right? So basically, you click over here in this place. You can add an image. You can add a gradient, a radial gradient, and a simple color as well to the entire frame. All right. That happens to be in the background of it. Cool. Like this. Now we have added your image, and every part of the container is done. Maybe something's missing, which is the curvature part. So probably that has not been rendered, but let's make sure to render that too. So over here in image wrapper, right, we have added the curvature. So over here, if you see, the 200 is there already, but why it's not probably being rendered is for the same part. Like if you see clip content over here, it's not the clip content is going to clip it, right? Similar to that, there's something called overflow. In overflow, this means see something that is visible, shows content that overflows or goes outside the container. Right now, the container has a curvature like this, but since the overflow is active, the content inside the container is going outside the container, the boundaries of the container. So by clicking on this, it is gonna stay inside the container like this. With that, you can actually control the curvature. All right. So over here you have something called overflow, which is going to control the curvature altogether. And you have all of these items as well. So maybe if you want to just change the position of these glasses again a bit, you can do that too. So over here it is under position called absolute. Like I said, over here there's absolute positioning, right? It's like that. There's something inside called absolute position. Now you can make sure to, uh, you know, just go a bit lower as well, a bit higher too, like this maybe. uh, and yeah, I think this should be decent. Like that, you can also control the position of these elements that we pasted. And yeah, so we're done with this section. Next part again, just like that. Click on body, click on this, click on copy to Webflow. It's gonna prepare your assets in some time. Yeah, it's done it. And Command T, paste it. Again, what has happened is again there's a max width. Remove the max width to none and add a background image basically. So in this case, this time, this is the background image, right? Yeah, we have previously rendered it and export to 1.5x. Oh, sorry, to not 2x, 1.5x should do. Um, Second section PG. Okay, and I'm gonna add this over here. Upload second section PG. Again, background image.svg. You can click on choose image, and second section.svg is gonna get rendered. All right. So like this, you also have your another section rendered into it as well. And over here, there is no curvature again. So the card again turn on overflow, and it's going to give you the curvature part. Maybe not 32, but something around 64. Better curvature. Let's do that. So like this, you again added a new section to this as well. All right. So again, let's just quickly do the rest of the sections too and finish our website. Copy to Webflow. there's an error saying that something hasn't been exported in SVG. So let's paste it and see what has not been rendered. And now if you paste it, it's gonna come something like this. If you see, these haven't been rendered actually, and the number also hasn't come up, right? So no, nothing to worry about. We can just make sure to change the images inside it. So let's do one thing. Let's remove the entire div, and let's make sure to have that this is fully horizontally expanded. Or let's just remove this image too. So we have column 4 over here, right? Let's export this thing as an image altogether. But if you wish to have them as separate images, that is also possible. But let's for now just focus on exporting it as a separate image. All right. So again, export column, and so yeah, feature one, feature one in IMG. All right, and I'm gonna add this into this. Open. Now I'm gonna go into the background part of things, imaging gradient, background, and choose image, and press on cover. So custom means this is a custom sizing basically, and cover means it covers the entire. It covers into the entire part. So that's something of an advanced topic. Definitely you can learn about it, but definitely you can work on those lines too. All right. So I'll remove these two. I'll delete these images again. All right. Now if you see, all of these have the same image, but how do you make sure to all of them have the why did this happen? I'll quickly explain that. So if you see over here, there's something called class actually, which is the name of this container, and everything that this container has in properties will be replicated into the other containers as well. So since we have given the background image into this like this, so that is why this the same background image has applied to all of this. So everything that has the same class will have the same property. All right. So how do you make sure to not have different images? You cannot remove this class because it has some certain properties that this has, but you only want to change the image. So to do that, what you can do is add a subclass. So let's say second over here. That can be the subclass, and let's make sure to export this image to 2x and export seaside, save, and upload image. Open. It has uploaded it, and now click on choose image and click on this. Now what has happened is, since we have added a second combo class, the properties of this are related to the second, which means this image is added to this class. All right. So but then the properties of column 4 still remain the same. So over here again, if you see, the same image is there. All right. But if I go here and go into here and add second the existing combo class, you see this image is coming in because we have given the background image as this one. And if I remove it, the properties of this one are coming in. So that is how classes work in general. You can learn a lot more about classes. There's a lot more complexity when it comes to classes that you can learn about. But for now, this is the basic fundamental about what a general class is and what a combo class is. All right. So just like that, let's give this a third. All right, and let's export this one and export to 2x. Yeah, and column 2. Sorry, not column 2, but something of third image. Right. Now, uh, uh, now you can copy this to Webflow, or or the one thing that you can do, or you can just export it, and also you can paste it. But let's just upload the image and paste it, by the way. So yeah, like this is the open image, and over here you can click on choose image, and you can click on this one, and it's going to render those images. All right, so you have this image over here, this image over here, and this image over here. And additionally, this block is also missing out, right? So let's just quickly copy paste that one too. Desktop counter, and in this content part I'm going to copy this, and in the navigation to bring it to the top, I'm gonna pull this one and go into the navigation and pull it to the very top like this. So in this way you can also arrange the order of your elements, so it goes from top to bottom like this, or like first to last, so you can arrange them accordingly. And let's change this to 2, by the way, and command C, command V, and pull it over here like this, and you're gonna to have, yeah, this one. So 1, 2, and 3. uh, Now your this section is also done, and now let's quickly copy this part. Sorry, I've closed this part plugin again. Let's copy the testimonials part too, and click on copy to Webflow. It's going to prepare those assets, and now click on body and press command B, and like that it has copied it. Again, this became a rectangle. uh, okay, I've copied it from another website, is it? Oh, sorry, I've copied the wrong one. But yeah, I'll quickly copy this one. Let's delete this one, the testimonial stack. By just clicking on delete, it will delete it for you. And click on body again, press command V. And like this, you have the one that we chose to have, right? And over here, again, overflow, or maybe not for the image wrapper, tune in overflow, turn off, okay, or content. Okay, so I think this radius has not been rendered. So what we'll do is we'll give it a radius of, let's say, 100. Now this should do the trick, right? So like this, we have a testimonial section as well. And now what's left is the footer. Now we're going to copy this to Webflow, and we have copied it to clipboard, and paste. Click on body over here and press command V, and this is also there. By the way, the logo is still bad. Maybe, like I said, you can upload the logo, and you can make sure to just replace the logo like how we did on the header. All right. So also there's something when it comes to positioning. Let's say first, uh, now if you click on this play button, so if you see, your website looks something like this. All right, you've created your website, and let's say you want to link any of these buttons. So let's you see this button too, right? Get started. If you click on the settings icon over here, there's something called a URL column. Let's say I want to take to google.com. Okay, now we can just press enter and close it. Now what happens is, if you click on this, it's going to go to google.com. Like that, if you paste any URL in this in a link block, if you remember, there's something called dev section link, like I said, right? Now over here, if you see this, if you click on column, you see a rectangle, a square basically. But if you see here, you see a link. This is a div block or a div container, which is holding everything, and this does not have any link. But this one over here has a link. So that's the difference between a div block and link block. Because over here, if you go into the settings panel, you can paste a URL to this. But something like this does not have any settings icon or any URL to be pasted, because this is not a link block. So like that, you can just add links to this, and you can make sure that these buttons are active as well. Like that, you can create your website basically. All right. Additionally, you can work on making sure that the website is also responsive like this. So it has automatically converted them to be responsive, but you can still work on how you can improve the responsiveness in this as well, like this for this, and for a mobile it will look something like this maybe. All right. So that is the advantage with Webflow basically. Now the last part is, after you've done finishing the creation of your website, what you can do is to publish it. Now if you click on publish over here, so there is a URL, staging URL, production URL. So production URL is like if you buy a custom domain that takes some pricing, there's a plan to it. You can buy one an attachment. But if there is for the normal one, Webflow provides a .webflow.io domain, which you can use basically. Now if you click on publish to selected domains, and after everything is ticked, it says published. Now I'm gonna go and click on this to see the URL, and now if you see, your website is ready. So in an hour or 1.5 hour, basically, we have created an entire website from scratch inside Webflow. So that is the power of this tool, and that is how easy this tool makes to create websites. And yeah, by the way, if you click on this, the URL is still there. On Google, it will take you to Google like that, and you can copy and paste this URL anywhere. Maybe open it in another browser, maybe like this, and paste it over here, and still the same website will open. So you have created your first website like this using Webflow, just like that. So it's that simple basically. All right. So yeah, overall, let me summarize. First thing, I've talked about this amazing plugin called Figma to Webflow, and I've created using all these items. I've created everything that is there, like the nav bar, the all these sections basically, and the footer. Everything has been created from these layouts, and it has made it very neat and very easy. And also, you've copied and pasted this from Figma to Webflow as easy as possible, just using that plugin. So using this plugin, you can also create your own websites, and you can just make sure to create simple websites like your portfolio websites maybe, or just simple landing pages that you can add to your portfolio. All of this, like just a live website, is much more advantageous compared to just some prototype, right? So within 1.5 hour, you can just create your own portfolio website as well, using this plugin and using the power of Webflow basically. So there's a lot more to it. Like a Webflow is not just for beginners. Like there's a lot more advancement also you can use. So it helps both beginners and experts who are in JavaScript. Like you can add code to this. There's a lot more things that Webflow can hold. It's a very powerful tool. So if you wish to learn more about Webflow, then definitely it will be an added advantage, because you can keep on experimenting with this tool and trying out different things, creating different websites, and seeing out all these quirky animations. All of this is possible in Webflow. So I try to experiment a lot with Webflow, and it just makes it so easy to create websites as fast as possible. So that's the power of this tool about Webflow, and that's basically about how you can create simple landing pages using Webflow. Cool. I hope you like this session. I hope this has been very insightful. You can definitely refer back again, I guess, to this video and see all the elements that have been thought about. And yeah, I hope you create more wonders with Webflow using this plugin. And if anyone's like very much inspired by this, go ahead and create your own website, maybe using Webflow. So cool. Thank you all. Thank you for attending this session, and I hope this has been insightful. And thanks for taking your time to listen and learn all about Webflow. Thank you.